Hello and welcome to the RPA Developer Production Ready Essentials training. In this video, we'll cover working with array variables. An array is a type of variable which lets you store multiple values of the same type. UiPath Studio supports as many types of arrays as types of variables. This means that you can create an array of numbers, of strings, of images, of Boolean values, and so on. Arrays are useful in a lot of real-life scenarios where we need to store multiple values of the same type. For example, let's say that we need to store 100 different strings that will need to be added to different emails. It's easier to use specific strings from an array for the designated emails. Now, let's see arrays in action. In this demonstration, we'll create an array of strings, initialize it, add two values, modify, and display it. Let's start by adding an assign activity and defining a new array variable by pressing Ctrl+K in the toInput field. Let's call it string array. Now let's open the variables panel and change the type of our variable to an array of strings by choosing array of type, with type being a string. Next, we'll initialize the array in the default input field by adding new string, open brackets, close brackets, open curly braces, close curly braces, to create an object, a concrete instance of the string class. Next, we want to add two elements to our array. Let's enter two strings in the value input field of the assign activity. Let's also make sure that we rename our assign activity and use an annotation for descriptive purposes. We've created our array of strings and added two values. Now let's display it. To do this, we'll use a log message activity. To display our array of strings, we're going to use string concatenation to get the information from each index, separated by a space. Each element in an array has an index number by which it can be referenced. The index of the first array element is 0. Let's run the process and see the result. Great! We can see the elements of the array in the output panel, separated by a space. But what if we want to change the value of an element in an array? Let's see how we can modify the first element from John to Jane. To do that, we'll add another assign activity and use the toInput field to access the element at index 0. Then, let's enter Jane in the value field to modify the element. We'll make sure to rename the activity and add an annotation. Let's display our modified array by using a new log message activity. This time, we'll use a string.join method, which we'll also display by adding a space between the elements. Let's run the workflow. As you can see in the output panel, now we have the first message with the original values of the array and the second message with the modified ones. And that concludes our demo. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Goodbye.